G'day and welcome to the GameFace Footy Show for the SFNL Division 1, live here at GameFace HQ in Studio 1. My name is Russell Robertson, this is Will Hunter, and over there is Lockers. We can't wait to pick apart what happened on the weekend with everything in this division. Colts come from behind to knock off the Dingoes. What's going on there? Billy Hartung makes his debut for the Saints. East Malvern climbs into the top three. Well done to them. Bentley to host the 2019 Pride Cup this week. But before we get to any of that, let's go now to Will Hunter for a GameFace app update.
G'day guys, if you weren't checking out the GameFace record app this weekend, this is what you've missed. In Division 1, the Colts pulled off a stunning victory over Premiership Fancies Dingley at JL Murphy Reserve. Facing a 20-point deficit at the final change, the Colts took control of the game in the last quarter, booted 3 goals 11 to 1 behind to run away to an 8-point triumph. Very well done there. Former Hawk and Kangaroo Billy Hartung made his debut for St Kilda City, but East Malvern, they were too good on their home deck, winning by 6 goals, while Oakley District got within 9 points of Bentley. The other results went as expected, with St Paul's knocking over Mordialloc and Cheltenham steamrolling Hyatt. Mordialloc pinched an important victory over St Paul's in the twos, while Cheltenham, Bentley and East Malvern also recorded wins. And over at Port Melbourne, the Colts reserves also came from behind in the last quarter to pip Dingley in club stalwart Phil Karamanowski's 250th game. In the ladder, St Paul's remains on top ahead of Cheltenham, with the Panthers replacing Dingley in the top 3, as we can see. While in the reserves, East Malvern has a 1-game buffer over Bentley at the top of the table. Cheltenham's Will McTaggart, he booted 3 goals to extend his lead over St Paul's Steve Muller in the senior goal-kicking table, while Panther Mitchell Ferguson still leads the way in the reserves. Colts ruckman Matt Dallalibra took out top billing in our weekly player countdown ahead of East Malvern's Liam Sumner and St Paul's Jimmy Ziller. Now remember, there's plenty more to see on the GameFace record app, including all the latest news headlines, team lists and live scores for all divisions of footy and netball. So make sure you download the GameFace record app for free from the App Store or Google Play. Get your GameFace on.
Top shelf there, Will Hunter. Mate, you did pretty good with that.
Just getting it done, mate.
You get it done. You do it with hands too. Very weather girly. Very weather girly.
I actually thought it was a bit more like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I love it. Port Colts versus Dingley. Let's rip straight into this one. The Colts were good in patches, but their last quarter was phenomenal.
Great win for them.
Huge.
Probably stamps themselves now as a genuine finals contender. So, and Dingley, they'd be disappointed. They were up, I think at some stages led by 20, 25 points.
Yep.
Probably looked in control for most of the day, but the Colts, never say die attitude, got them over the line in the last quarter. So, yeah, fantastic result for them. Dingley now 2 in a row they've lost. I don't think they've lost 2 in a row for a long time.
Yeah,
so
years, wouldn't it?
A long time.
How would their players cope with that?
Saw them all Sunday morning, actually, down at the Main Street Cafe in Mordialloc having breakfast. So they'll bond together. That's one thing you can guarantee about Dingley.
Yep.
They would have went out Saturday night, had a chat about it. They would have done their recovery down the beach nice and early Sunday. I reckon I saw about 18 of them having brekkie together Sunday
That's great.
morning. So they'll bounce back. There's no doubt about it. They're a good side, got quality players across the board. But yeah, it gives Colts a chance now.
They were bloody awesome in that last quarter, I've got to say. 20 points down at three-quarter time, and you know it kind of echoed the reserves as well. A similar story. They were about 20 points behind at three-quarter time and got the chocolates there. Phil Karamanowski won the league medal a couple of years ago in the Magoos. He played his 250th game, so well done to you, Phil. One of the best set of pipes in the Southern Footy League as well. So he is a serious unit. But mate, that last quarter, they really should have put him away earlier. 3 goals 11 to 1 behind. Halfway through the last quarter, I thought that the Colts had probably kicked away their chance. But to their credit, they were phenomenal. Dallalibra in the ruck, he was absolutely outstanding. Every time they were kicking it out from fullback, and Matt Morwood had a fair few cracks at it in the last quarter with 11 behinds. He just got on the end of it and made a contest. He was sensational. Very
good result. Yep, and he's in good form, the big fella for them. So yeah, good ruckman. Don't get shorter as the years go on. So yeah, he'll be around the mark as well come finals.
It's one of the games of the round. We're looking forward to seeing what happened there, and we got the result, and we're also down there, and that's the thing that GameFace too. We get down to these games and we try to bring you all the action. Here's some of the action and an interview down at this particular game.
Hey guys, Will from GameFace here down at the Port Melbourne Colts Footy Club. Big game coming up here against the Dingoes. And thanks to Sports Performance Tracking, I've got the SPT Player of the Day, Matthew Dalla Libera. He's been in great form, #1 ruck here at the Colts. And Dalla, the President Div has given you a right old stitch up. Didn't tell you there was an interview involved.
No, he has. He's asked if I want to wear the tracker, which I gladly accepted. And then he's also told me there's a pre-game interview, and I don't like talking, so here we are.
All good, mate. He's stitched you up a beauty and stitched me up too. I'm not the tallest bloke in the world, and he's made me stand next to a ruckman and made me feel like a 10-year-old. So thanks for that, Duva. You've done well. Hey, you ever worn a GPS tracker before?
No, not at all, mate. First one.
Excited? Looking forward to seeing how you go?
Yeah, I wouldn't say excited, but just interested to see some numbers and see what sort of numbers I get out there on the field.
Your form's been pretty good throughout the year, obviously taking the #1 ruck responsibility here at the Colts, and you seem to work through the game pretty well. Your fitness is pretty good?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Just a little bit of niggles, injuries going into the season, but just working through that now, so it's not too bad.
And the team's playing some really good footy as well. You must be happy with where they're tracking?
Yeah, we are. As everyone knows by the results, obviously up and down at times, but when we play our best footy, we can certainly beat anyone, so hopefully today's the same. So.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I know you're a man of few words, so I'll let you go and prepare for the big game, mate. And looking forward to seeing your results with the GPS tracker, thanks to Sports Performance Tracking, the affordable analytics tool that will give you the edge over the competition. Dalla, thanks for joining me and best luck for today.
No dramas, mate. Thank you very much.
Well done. That was the Sports Performance Tracking interview with Dalla Libera. He was huge in the last quarter, and here are some of his numbers. Will, you can talk us through it.
12.3 k's total distance is pretty extraordinary for a ruckman. He's got a pretty impressive tank, and it's not a big ground, Port Colts, but he's certainly worked hard.
Yeah, 66 for effort, so he's got to most of the contest. He's probably rucked all day. I don't think he gets much help in the ruck. I think Wagman goes in and helps him out occasionally, but he's an undersized ruckman, so yeah, he's a good athlete, no doubt. So look forward to what he can do the second half of the year.
He was he doesn't like coming off the ground at all. Doesn't like having breaks. He prides himself on his work rate, and 1,200 metres of hard running is pretty impressive as well. I spoke to President Steve Duvenjak during the week, to let him know that we'll be taking the tracker down there and, give us a player that you want to chuck it on. Didn't tell Dalla that there was an interview involved and stitched him up a beauty.
Beautiful.
He'd been avoiding me all year, but I finally got hold of him, and he's a great character and certainly a hardworking ruckman. And if you have a look at the heat map there that we'll put on the screen as well, it's pretty much all red.
So you can see his intervals as they walk, jog, run, sprint. That's fantastic. Obviously, a good breakdown there. A lot of sprinting there, which is good to see. And the heat map. It's a good thing they didn't show the heat map an hour after the game. He'd be centred right near the bar there in that
300 metres away from the ground.
300 metres. But on a serious note, that's a pretty good, I suppose, a good spread, really. Red to green, obviously, spends less time in the green for those that are uneducated about what a heat map is. Red hot means that's where he spent most of his time. And as a ruckman, that's pretty good coverage, I would have thought, boys. Absolutely. You'd be happy with that as a coach. We'll move on now to the Billy Hartung, St Kilda City. He debuted, and Lockers, you got to chat about his performance, mate. You were there, you checked it out. What do you think?
It's always hard playing first up with a lot of guys you don't know.
Yes.
Look, his skills are good. He still looks super fit. He didn't get a heap of the foot. He did kick a great goal at the start of the last quarter to maybe give St Kilda City a bit of a sniff. But he didn't get heaps of the ball. Probably had 15 touches for the day. He seemed to work hard. I did quarter-time huddle, three-quarter-time huddle. I did actually see him talking to a few of the players. So it looked like he'd bought into what they're trying to do. So if he can get around and support their younger guys in the second half of the year, I'm sure he'll add value.
Yeah. Where was he last year?
No, St B. He was North Melbourne last year. He played 13 games for North last year. And ended up at St Bede's for the first half of this year. Not sure what happened down there, but him and his flatmate Jordan Tabakman, who played his first game for City as well on Saturday, crossed over last week. Jordan actually played quite well on the ball. Good midfielder, impressive looking specimen with all the tattoos. He looks a little bit like Dane Swan, got the ink everywhere. He played quite well, so I think together they can add something to St Kilda City. Good in patches, Raf Clark's a star. Seen the first time I've seen him live for a whole game.
Yep.
Every time he touched the footy, they had a scoring opportunity. Probably what they've got to work harder on, St Kilda City, is actually winning the footy back. They wait for turnover, basically wait for Raf Clark to intercept mark.
Yeah, right.
Quite well. He does that. They slingshot. They've got really good pace up forward, but they've probably just got to work harder to win the footy back off the opposition.
There is a transition time in Billy Hartung's defence coming from the AFL, from the top level where everything's laid on. It's all pretty special to go and play for a club that you got to get your own ball. You got to get your own stuff prepared. That's going to be a transition period for him. And I tell you, I did it, and I played for a lot of footy clubs over the years. And you get better at playing with new bunch of blokes for the first time as the time goes by. I've absolutely loved it. It's been the joy of my life. And a lot of people have said to me, you know, why are you still doing it? I love it. I love going into a footy club and meeting the blokes and the different characters, because there are so many different footy clubs and characters out there.
Especially at City.
Especially at City.
You've got some good ones.
But East Melbourne too good with that one. Speaking of good, the Pride Cup, Will Hunter, is happening. Bentley versus Cheltenham, two great clubs. Bentley have, you can hold this one up for me, Will, if you don't mind. They are going to be wearing the Pride specially made jumpers, the Pride jumpers. You can see they've done a pretty special job there. The Bentley team will be wearing that, the senior men's and women's games. Seniors at 1:30pm, women's at 4pm. There'll be a luncheon from midday. This is pretty special, Will. You know, you're pretty close to this. You know what's going on there. So why don't you talk us about what's happening with the function and the rest of the day?
Oh, look, the Pride Cup is something that the league obviously they pride themselves on it.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah, I didn't really want to go there, but it sort of fell out. No, they pride themselves on it, and it's a fantastic initiative. They were the first league in Australia to institute a league-wide Pride round.
Awesome.
And they're all about inclusion for the LGBTI plus community, who for too long have felt excluded and not sort of welcomed or embraced within, you know, sporting culture, and particularly men's footy. I think with women's footy nowadays, there's a lot more openly gay players, and it's really sort of helping to you know, further the cause of the Pride round. Bentley and Cheltenham, the seniors kicking off at 1:30. The women's game, they'll be wearing these jumpers as well. Actually, this is Sarah Radlow's jumper that she'll be playing. They're playing at 4, so the men will stick around and watch that. But the luncheon from midday, Bowie Stover from Proud to Play and Lance Piccioni, the ex-Hawk, the guest speakers there. And I know he's doing some great work in the mental health side of things these days.
Yep, he's a great man, Lance, and he's been through his own battles, and he's blazing a trail, walking a trail, to be more specific. He's done some big long walks just to bring some attention to. It's a real thing. Do you know what I love? And there's a little bit more to talk about. You can see the gold padding will be in the rainbow arcs, and rainbow socks for the Cheltenham and Lyndhurst. That's Cheltenham and Lyndhurst.
Yeah, Cheltenham and Lyndhurst. Lyndhurst are playing in the
Gotcha.
women's game.
Gotcha.
The women's game. So they're rather than having jumpers, they're having rainbow socks, which is great, and obviously in the netball as well. Bentley will be wearing rainbow bibs on their dresses for their Div 4 and 8 girls.
This is absolutely fantastic, and well done to the SFNL. We just need to take a moment and say to all the people that out there that have their doubts about football clubs, Lockers, you've been around a long time and you know what it's like on the inside. All are welcome all the time, but it's not necessarily the view of the people that are on the outside. So we need to do things like this to really expose how much we are saying, come play this great game of football, all are welcome. Well done to the Bentley Football Club, well done to the Cheltenham Football Club being a part of it as well, and well done to the SFNL for being a part of it. It's fantastic, isn't it, Lucas?
Unreal. I'll just say special mention to Chelt this week. Bentley have a luncheon.
Yep.
The race where you come off the ground is right where the luncheon will be. They'll be fully charged. So it can be interesting. So, the Pride Cup will be a good game to go watch. I reckon at about 3:30 at half time of the senior game. Get down there. There'll be plenty of Bentley crowd will be giving Cheltenham plenty of advice as they come off the ground. It'll be fantastic.
It would be all, positive and
100% positive.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about here on the GameFace Footy Show, positivity.
Speaking of positivity and good dividends, I want to give a big shout out to the Bendigo Bank, the team at the Bendigo Bank Caulfield Park, for their support of the GameFace's SFNL Footy Show coverage. 80% of all of their profits and giving back to the local community. As if you'd like to show your appreciation for all the great work that the Bendigo Bank do for the local community, change your banking over to them. I know I have. They are great supporters of the GameFace show as well, and the shows that we do, and you can see them just right here on our chest as well. So well done to the Bendigo Bank and what you do in the community. It's absolutely fantastic.
If your bank isn't doing the right thing by you, change to one you can feel better about.
Speaking of fantastic, I always do the segues. Speaking of fantastic, the Bendigo Bank Division 1 Team of the Week. You two boys have pulled out a pretty tasty list here. Well done. Rip me through it.
Alrighty, I'll kick it off from the back line. Nick Barry from East Malvern, Will Sadler from East Malvern as well, and Matty Morwood from Dingley. You had a good look at those two East Malvern boys on the weekend, Lockers.
Yeah, they were very good. Will Sadler did a great job on Ryan Carroll, who I think's played probably 6 games at Sandy in the VFL this year, so he's a dangerous forward, kicks goals. Will back at the club this year. He's had a couple of years out at Brunswick, I think, in the VAFA, so yeah, great return for him. Half back line, Raph Clark, spoke about him earlier, was fantastic. Kicked probably goal of the year if you can watch it in the third quarter, I think. If it's not goal of the year, very close thus far. Will Clark, St Paul's, just it was almost made that position his own in the last month of footy. And Mick Rogers for Bentley on the half-back flank.
Across the centre line, Jimmy Ziller from St Paul's. Very, very good young player there. Liam Sumner from East Melbourne, another great game on the weekend. He's now starting to find a little bit of form, which is exciting for the Panthers. And Tyler Jones from Port Melbourne, he had a great game on the weekend there.
Yep, young Tom Davis, half-forward flank for Chelt, was fantastic. Had a look at the video today. Mackenzie Bristow, centre forward. It's either him or Harry Hunt. Harry Hunt was out suspended, so it couldn't be Harry, so obviously Mackenzie gets his turn this week. Jared Blenkinsop, St Paul's, been playing a bit of twos with St Paul's. Very good player, very good depth player. Came in on the weekend and kicked 4 goals for St Paul's.
I saw him play a game, the last St Paul's game that we called. He was pretty good in that as well. So it's good to see that they've actually got a little bit of depth and players that can come up from the Magoos and have a real impact in the ones. That's fantastic. In the forward line, Corbin Sutherland from Bentley got amongst the goals on the weekend. 4, I think.
Yep, correct.
Jake Mullen also kicked 4. He's been outstanding. They haven't been getting the points, Oakley, but his performances have been absolutely outstanding. And Alex Highwood for East Melbourne, I think all 3 of them got 4 goals on the weekend.
They did, and Alex Highwood is finally looking fit on top of the ground. I think he kicked 4 goals, 7 on the weekend.
Oh boy.
He kicked 2 from 50 metres out on the boundary line post high.
Oh.
Missed a couple. I think he hit the post twice in the first quarter, so he looked really dangerous. Good forward line. Not sure there's all room for 4 of them in the proper team. They all like their own space, but anyway. In the rucks, Matt Della. How do you say his name? Della Libera, fantastic, 12k running. Toddy Bastian, captain of Mordialloc, heart and soul, terrific game. And Jake Wood, captain of Port Colts, actually fantastic. He's been a stalwart of that club and again features in the best, which is fantastic for him.
And it was his birthday on Saturday as well, so happy birthday to you, Woody. He turned 28 on Saturday, and a great way to celebrate with that tremendous victory over Dingley. And rounding out the interchange, Chris Carey from East Malvern, Ed Turner from Hyatt, Kyle Parsons from Cheltenham, and our man Chris Horton-Milne from Dingley. A dirty day for the Dingoes, but he was consistent performer over the 4 quarters.
He's your man, Will. Let's be honest, Chrissy Horton-Milne, your man.
Well done, boys. It's fantastic. That was the team of the week. Now we'll move into the round 11 fixture brought to you by MelSafe. Let's go through it. You guys have got a bit of a tipping competition going on, so this will be duly noted.
Let's not really talk about that too much.
You're not going very well.
I'm going that way.
We'll move on. Bentley versus Cheltenham in the Pride match. Who wins this one and why, boys?
I think Cheltenham, they'll be far too good. Plenty of talent all over the park. On paper, the better side and should get the points.
I would agree with you, but I need to pin a couple back, so I might go Bentley.
Yeah, right.
I've got to do something different to get you back, Will. So I'll say Bentley. It'll be close. Small ground.
Yep.
It's a hard ground to play. Mm-hmm. Not sure the weather forecast this week. Jane, you done any reporting on the weather?
No, mate.
No. So if it's heavy, it'll suit Bentley. So we'll see what happens.
Well, for your sake, I hope they get up, Bentley, because you're a few cartons behind, my mate. Mordialloc versus Oakley Districts. Well,
surely this is one that Mordialloc don't lose. They haven't been getting the results that they've wanted. Good opportunity to hit back on the winners list. They'd be disappointed with their efforts over the weekend. Yeah, they lost to St Paul's, but they got themselves into a pretty good position and then blew it. They'll beat Oakley Dishit. I think they'll come out and make a big statement.
At Mordialloc, they have to be too good. It's not a if or a but with them. It's their last chance. They lose this, they're done. They can pack up and come back in 2020. So they just must win. So they should win on Saturday.
A very strong St Paul's unit will travel down to St Kilda City, and you'd think they'd get the chocolates, Will.
Yeah, but it'll be closer than most people might think. Obviously, St Kilda City have got a couple of new recruits in there. They'll obviously gel in time, and it's a hard place to play down there, the Peanut Farm. But I think St Paul's it'll be close.
I'll go to St Kilda City. Saw them firsthand on Saturday. I saw Rocket gambling leaving the ground on Saturday afternoon. He was fairly fired up as he can be. I think he'll get in and rally the troops Tuesday night at training. They'll work on a couple of things, and I'll say an upset. St Kilda City at the farm.
He doesn't get fired up, does
Rocket.
Rod does get fired up, and he was very, very. As much as I didn't really want to talk to him when he was steaming out of the joint, I had to stop him. And if nothing else, I got 5 minutes of fantastic entertainment speaking to him. He is a legend of a fella, and I laughed my head off.
Could not agree more. And they're actually playing some good footy under Hoyser now.
They're playing. There was nothing wrong with them on Saturday. They've just got to work on their defensive side, defensive mechanisms, and their ground. They'll bounce back.
Yep.
Good stuff. Port Colts versus East Melbourne.
Game of the round for mine. Big test for Port Colts. East Melbourne obviously hitting form. They're now in the top 3. Crunch game obviously at Colts. They play that ground particularly well. One disappointment. Not going to see the big matchup Della Libera taking on Chris Carey.
He's out.
He's out for this week, which is disappointing. But Jesse Bowe comes in, gets his chance. He is enormous.
He's a big fella.
He is enormous. It'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Come on, Will.
Colts. I'll go Colts.
Which means you'll go the other
East
way.
Melbourne.
You've got to catch him back.
East Melbourne actually, they had about 4 out on Saturday, and I think they're all back this week. So they'll probably be almost at full strength. So if East Melbourne are the real deal, I know they believe they are. They believe they compete. They have to beat Port Colts and probably beat a side around their mark. So I'll say East Melbourne.
The Dingoes need to get back on the winners list, so they'll take on Hyde at home. You would have thought they'd get that win.
I feel sorry for Hyde this week.
They're going to cop an absolute belting.
Yeah.
They're going to be the Dingoes are going to be vicious, unfortunately, and Hyde are going to probably cop the full whack of their frustration and their anger over what's happened in the last 2 weeks. So Dingley easy.
Well, that couldn't happen to a better bunch of blokes. That's the wrap up there for the SFNL Division 1. I've got to give them a clip every single time. Make sure you
It's an opportunity, David. Stick the boots in.
Make sure you download the GameFace app to stay up to date with everything that's happening in the SFNL Division 1. These games, they are really heating up now as we move into the finals football. You can see live stream games, you can see highlights, you can see replays, you can see interviews by this man. He does a great job. Well done today, Will Hunter. Thanks for bringing all your stuff and all your talents to this.
Pleasure.
You've been brilliant, and so is...
Will, for God's sake.
Yes, he's been a little bit under the weather. If you haven't been able to tell from his voice, I think you pushed through and done quite nicely. Ben Lockwood, well done to you. Where are you going this week?
I might just head down to Mordialloc and then over to Dingley. So we'll have a look at both those games.
He loves his football. He takes it all in. That has been the SFNL Division 1 show as we've picked apart everything in round 10 and look forward next week to bringing you round 11. See you then.